So we're on holiday here in France, just near Calais, and it got me thinking, what is the French plumbing like? Is it better than the plumbing in the UK, or is it worse than the plumbing in the UK? So let's get on with it and find out exactly what the plumbing's like in this little cottage we're staying in France. Now, just to give you some idea, the ablutions we have in this cottage, we have obviously a kitchen sink with hot and cold water. We have a downstairs toilet with a wash basin. We have an ensuite, which just has a shower and a wash basin. We have a toilet on its own upstairs with no wash basin. And we have a master bathroom with a huge bath, wash basin, a shower, but no toilet. Now, we have underfloor heating downstairs and we have radiators upstairs. We also have radiator towel rails in the master bathroom and the ensuite. So let's see what actually powers the water in this place. As you can see, it's not a gas boiler producing the heat for the water and heating in this property. It's one of those lovely air source heat pumps, and this is actually a Vitman heat pump. So this is part of the Vitman Viol 111S system, which is this, and somewhere in this property there is a huge white thing, what looks like a fridge, which is basically the monoblock part of this heat pump and an unvented cylinder. But before we go and find that, let's have a closer look at this heat pump. Now, as you can hear, this heat pump is actually running. So whoever says heat pumps are definitely quiet and you can't hear them, liars. So you can see here are the two pipes that go through into this little shed. And if we look at this data badge, we can see it's 6 kilowatts, this heat pump. And as you can see, like all heat pumps, when they're working hard, they like to have a good cry about it. So you can see this heat pump is crying its eyes out. And it's crying that much, it's making a big hole in the grass. Oh, bless. Now this isn't what you think it is. It looks like a garden shed attached to the side of the cottage, but it's not. It's the boiler house. So here is the Vitman Viol, I think that's how you say it, 111S. And I have heard about these, but I have never seen one in the UK. If you do have one of these in the UK, or you fitted one in the UK, let me know. But what I know of these units in here is like the monoblock part of the heat pump, and then down in this section here is, I think it's 200 litres, 150 litres of stored water. So let me know if you have one of these. So that's the main unit, and to the side we have another cylinder, which I'm guessing at the moment, until I have a closer look, that must be a buffer. So we can see the pipe arrangement coming off there. So we've got 2-pump system, and then we've got a Vitman 3-way valve controller, and with a load of other stuff. So let's have a look and see what this system is, and can I actually figure out what there is here. Now let's start with the cold water main, because I can see the main isolation valve here. So let's start with that and see where that goes. So you can see here is the mains water coming in. It looks like what we called black alkathene, but I don't know, it might be, I don't know. But anyway, goes to a stop tap, which we wouldn't use in the UK because we would use a proper stop tap, a concussive stop tap, not a lever valve like this. And I believe the water pressure in France is quite high as well. It's normally at 6 bar. So that's unusual for those kind of valves to be in here, but that's what they do. Also, we don't have a drain on the cold water, which we require in the UK. Now you can see it's been bent. And again, I believe the copper in France is really thick, hard copper. It's not soft, it's really hard. So it's hard to bend and you need a bending machine. And you can see it's rippled there. And it looks like it's 15 mil, but it actually isn't. They don't have 15 mil here. They have 16 mil. So let's have a look at where it goes now. So there's our first T, and then it branches off and goes round here. It then comes along here. It then comes along here. And then it should feed the washing machine, which it does. If you can see that, there's a tap there. So that's the cold water for the washing machine. Oops, I just turned it on. Let's turn it back off. So from that T now, it comes up to another T, which then goes across to a bib tap. Now again, in the UK, we would require an isolation valve here, and we'd also need a double check valve because it's a bib tap. So, got to turn the full water off to service that tap if anything goes wrong with it. So let's go up from here. We now have another T. So let's follow that round. It then goes through there, round the back of there. It then comes along here, and it comes to a pressure relief valve. Not sure what pressure that is. I'll have a look in a minute. And then it comes up and goes into this unit. So where does it go from this T again now? So if we follow it up, it goes to a header with isolation valves. Now, I've seen this in Europe quite a lot where they use these headers, and I think we should be using them in the UK. They are, I think, amazing. Very easy to do, and if you had a room like this, it's easy to isolate everything. It then goes into, is it PEX? PX? Looks like it, colour coded in blue. Now I know they do 3 types of plastic in France. They do the cold and the hot. They're just different colours of the same stuff. And then they have a white one, which is for central heating. These don't go up, I think they go up to 60 degrees, where the white pipe, which is a lot like our barrier pipe, goes up to 80 degrees for central heating. So from, obviously they go off up to the bathrooms. Well, I'm sure they go up to the bathrooms. Then we've got this arrangement, which then goes to this other header. Now, this is what we would call an RPZ valve, I think, because this is the filling link going to fill the heating circuit. So there should be a drain on there going to outside if anything happens. So again, slightly different than the way we do filling loops, because we should remove that link where they've left it connected. So anyway, so that means that these must be the heating circuit. And I think with that being blue pipe, that would be the return. So there's that top pipe there, and then this would be the flow going. So let's see where they go. So let's take the top pipe first. So the one with the red plastic going into it. I think this is the flow pipe going to the radiators and the towel rad upstairs. It then comes down to this pump set, which if we follow this down, can we see? Oh yeah, it tees into here. So tees into here, which goes and feeds that other flow. So we'll look at that in a minute, where that goes. Let's finish with this return, or what I think is the return. So if we follow that pipe now, comes around here, now comes down here, and I think this will go to the bottom of the buffer. It then goes, yes, it then links into the buffer. So, and that does look like 22mm pipe. These pipes here look like 28mm pipes. So I think I'm pretty correct in thinking the red and blue pipes on the right manifolds are the heating. And hopefully this manifold here is going to the hot water. So this technically should go to the unit, because the unit supplies the hot water. So then that goes around there and past there, and it then comes into here and it goes into the unit. So that is hot water, that is cold. Now, I might be wrong here, but what I remember of these units, this is a secondary return, and the pump can be in the main unit in here, and they haven't used it, and there doesn't seem to be a pipe doing secondary return, so they blanked it off. So we've done the hot, we've done the cold, we've done the flow and return going to this manifold. So let's have a look at the unit. So if we start with this pipe, which looks like it's 28mm, and it does feel warmish. So this is coming off the top of the unit. So I think this is the flow, and it should go to the buffer. So it goes some kind of temperature probe there, and it goes into the top of the buffer. So that's the flow. So that makes this one here, which is also lukewarm, the return. So this should go down to the bottom of the buffer. So it goes down and down, and look, we've got some kind of filter, and whatever that is, don't know whether it's a magnetic filter or not, but there is a dirt separator strainer there. So it looks like a magnetic filter, but not the same ones as we have. And yes, it does go into the bottom of the buffer. So that's return. That's your cold water into the unit. That secondary return blanked off. That is hot water out, and that is your heating out going to this pretty big buffer. So that's the left pump we've had a look at. What's this on the right? I'm thinking this goes to a manifold for the underfloor heating. We've got an automatic air vent on the top. It then comes down there, goes down to the floor, then goes across there, and then goes to there. And then the other one will be the return back from a manifold, I guess, which then returns back into this pipe here, where this three-way valve is. That a bypass? Anyway, that is going into the return there. So the heating return is linked into there, and so is the manifold. So let's see where the actual pipes come in from the heat pump. So it comes through the wall there, if you can see that, behind the back of the dryer, goes up, over, in, and then into the heat pump itself. And that looks very small copper pipes to me, whereas we would be using 28mm. That don't look like 28mm to me. So this one looks like 12mm to me, and then this one looks like 10mm. This is warm, and this is cold. So I guess this is the flow into the unit, and this is the return back. I didn't expect that, but you can also see now that the pipes can come off the top, as well as you can get them coming off the side, whichever makes it easy for you. So let's go into the house and see if we can find this manifold. To me, it looks like it's in the kitchen cupboards. So let's go and have a rummage in the cupboards. So by my calculations, it should be, can't see it being behind the oven, it should be in here somewhere. There it is. There it is. Won't like to work on it like, but that's the manifold for this underfloor heating downstairs. So while we're here, let's have a look at the pipework under the kitchen sink. So looks pretty much the waste pipe, the same as what we use in the UK. But the hot and cold water going to the tap, looks like we've only got 12mm coming out of the wall. And then again, it's PEX, which go into a washing machine tap outlet. So that's going for the dishwasher, to be fair. Plug for dishwasher. And obviously that's the pipe going into the drain for the dishwasher. So drainage looks pretty much the same as the UK. Let's take a look at this downstairs toilet. So we can see we have an off the floor concealed cistern, and we have a wash basin. But one thing you do notice here is there's no splashbacks, there's no tiles in here, it's just painted. We would probably tile that wall there where the toilet is, and we would tile a splashback at the wash basin. Let's have a look at the plumbing inside. So we have a bottle trap, and again we've got small pipes, and we would have 15. Looks like they've got 12mm feeding, and it's all concealed in this plasterboard wall, and you can't obviously see anything here because it's boxed in. So pretty much the same, other than the incoming pipes, as the UK. So let's check out the ensuite. So again, we've got a wash basin. Again, no actual splashback. We have a walk-in shower, which is like a resin tray. shaped. We have like a T-bar shower we would have in the UK with a drench head. And now you can see what I mean about the water being hard here, because look at all the calcium there. It's like that in the kettle as well, which doesn't pour very well. So they do have massive problems with hard water here in northern France. So let's take a look at the towel rad. So there is underfloor heating here as well as a towel rad. So it looks pretty much the same as the UK, except we've got plastic pipes coming through the wall and no thermostatic radiator valves on there. Let's check out just a toilet. Again, concealed off the floor toilet. And again, no tiling whatsoever, but this time no wash basin either. So just a toilet on its own. So that means we have to walk across here to wash your hands after you've been to the toilet, which is something we would never do in the UK. So, huge bath, huge, with fancy tap and shower head. Then we have another T-bar shower. So this is a plastic wall, so there's no tiles here. There is an extractor there, but that's just a plastic wall. And again, we have a wash basin, and again, no splashback, and another towel rad with the same valves. Let's check out the radiators in the bedrooms. So all the radiators in the bedrooms are pretty much the same as this one, but these are slightly different to the ones we have in the UK, because we have this two pipes coming in here, and we have the thermostatic radiator valve there at the top, which is supposed to be the most efficient way of doing a radiator. So you can see the valves coming in there, and if we have a look at the top, so you can see they are different, these radiators, than the ones we do in the UK. So this is how we control the heating and the hot water with the Vitman Viol 200 controller, and there is a standard room stat in our bedroom. Now, this is a purpose-built boiler house. So let's have a quick look at this, because as you can see, most of the pipework in here isn't insulated at all, which we would do in the UK. So let's have a quick look at the room then. Now look at the thickness of this door compared to my hand. So I'm guessing it's full of insulation inside there. If we look at the thickness of the walls, you can see again how thick they are to my hand. They are incredibly thick. I'm guessing inside here will be Kingspan. Otherwise, all this would all need to be insulated, wouldn't it? So I guess the roof is all insulated as well. And it is lovely and warm in here all the time, because we have been using it as a drying room. And the boys brought the football boots with them, and they've been drying them out here as well. So the boiler room seems to work here anyway. Whether it would do in Scotland or the north of England is debatable. Now, what do you think, guys? Do you think French plumbing is better than the UK's? So I quite like this idea. I don't know whether we have this in the UK. I've never seen it for sale, but it's a cracking idea that you've got a full unit where your air source heat pump just attaches onto it, and then you can then pipe off to all your different stuff. So I love this idea. But how big is it? Look at it to me. I'm 6'2". It's taller than me. It's bigger than me. It's bloody deeper than me as well. So you need a massive room like this to be able to have one of these. So that's probably why they don't sell them in the UK. Can you imagine trying to fit one of them in a terraced house with a buffer tank? That's probably why this place as well has had this little boiler room made, which is a cracking idea if you can do it. If you can't do it, you ain't having one of these then, are you? And I do love manifolds. I think they're ace. To be able to just go and individually turn off each one, your hot and your cold, brilliant. Love that idea. Shame they didn't put any drains on anything though. They don't seem to like drains in France, or drain points in France. Also, the pipe work isn't that bad, but they don't seem to work to the regulations we do. Now, because in the south of England where our water is hard, our water regulations and our building regs say we need softeners. There ain't no softeners here. And also, where's the pressure reducing valve? This water is supposed to be 6 bar, or up to 6 bar coming in, then shouldn't it have a pressure reducing valve reducing it down to 3 bar? So, let me know, guys, what you think. There's some things in here I really like, and other things I think, well, what have they done that for? So put down in the comments, guys, and what you think. Is French plumbing better than the UK plumbing? And if you are a French plumber watching this, which I don't get many French plumbers watching my videos, what is your systems like? Do you compare them to the UK? Do you think you're better than us? And if you are a British plumber, do you think we're better than the French? That can stir a few things, can't it? Anyway, hopefully you've liked the video, and I'll catch you on the next one, guys. See you later. No fighting.